like, I am not a big woman, but I'm formidable, and I can easily intimidate people, and she wasn't moved. So I was like, okay, let me sign up. So in order to get the certificate, you have to take this other training as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took the class. I did it backwards, sort of. I took the class, and then I took the second training.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up meeting this woman. It was so funny. I'm sitting sitting behind this woman, and her and I are just cracking up. We're just cracking up. And my friend sitting next to me says, hey, you have a mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need a mentor. This woman is perfect as a mentor for me, but I'm shy. Can you introduce me to her? I said, sure. Let me get to know her enough. I'll introduce her to you by the end of the training. It was like a 3-day training.
Okay.
And on like the third day, and this is so your sister's fashion, on the third day, I happened to be wearing jeans. I could slip into jeans that were like 4 sizes too small. Didn't realize they were that small until it was lunchtime. After lunch, I couldn't breathe. And the lady was sitting in front of me, and she says,
you look blue.
well, no, she said, what's that sound? I said, oh boy, I'm trying not to breathe. She said, are you okay? I said, yeah, but if I breathe hard, then this button is going to pop and hit you in the back of the head, maybe give you a concussion. So she said, do you want an internship? Maybe you can buy some bigger jeans. I said, I'll take an internship, but I'm not going to wear no bigger jeans. I slid into these, right?
Yeah.
And I ended up having an internship here in Brandon, Florida. Her name is Mary Greenwood McDermott.
Shout out to Mary.
Right. And so she took me under her wing, taught me everything about, family law and so forth, and taught me about being a lawyer. Really, she did. And so I ended up working for her and her firm. I actually found out I passed the bar while working at her firm, and worked there, and then eventually decided, hey, let me go ahead and start my own. So that's the journey.
I'm very proud of you. Now here's a question. Shout out via my wife. Tomika wanted to know this question. Does lawyers lie to win cases? I think this is one of those movie questions where people see movies and they think lawyers do whatever they have to win. Does lawyers lie to win cases?
I can't speak for all lawyers. I will say this. So lawyers are human, so we forget that sometimes in the general public, right? Uh-huh. So lawyers are human. So just like you have decent humans, and then, you have the outliers who are sketchy, you're going to have the outliers who are sketchy as far as lawyers, right? Okay. But here's what I will tell you, and I've had to tell this to a couple of people too. If a lawyer is caught lying, if a lawyer is caught lying, at the very least, their credibility is shot. Like respect and reputation is really huge. Okay. Because you're going to run across the same attorneys. We all, we're going to work different cases. I have colleagues who I love to hang out with and call for advice and so forth, and we're friends. And guess what? We've been on opposite sides of cases. I'm thinking of one of my very favorite people who I met because she was on opposite end of a case, and it was a very contentious case, right? Mm-hmm. So reputation is everything, and that's the least, right? Mm-hmm. If you're lying, though, and you get caught out there, that's your bar license. Like, that's your whole career, able to practice law. That's it right there. And so I say that because very few attorneys are willing to put their bar license on the line just to let their client get ahead. There's some attorneys who, like anybody else, they're competitive, and their competitive nature gets over on them. Mm-hmm. Listen, if they were going to do that as a lawyer, they were going to do that as a doctor, as a preacher, as a teacher, as a sewage cleaner. They were going to do that, right? Mm-hmm. But in general, no lawyers try to put their career on the line for your case.
So short answer, I mean,
sometimes, I guess.
Some. It might not be big, but some of it. I like that. I like that, and I can respect that. Like, people, at least they know. Yeah. Like, it's like when you was a kid and you thought that teacher didn't like you. That teacher probably did not like you.
Well, yeah, and that's the case. But as far as lying, I have to stress this because I need people to know, because everybody already has these opinions on lawyers. Oh, they're slimy. They're going to do whatever they need to do to win. They're going to screw the under person, all this kind of stuff. A lot of that is baseless. A lot of that is what you see on TV because it makes it for good drama. Yeah. Hear me clearly when I say, if there's a lawyer that's going to lie, it's a small percentage. Because once again, nobody's case is worth losing your career. Like $5,000 might be a lot to that client, but I don't know about you, but I'm not going to put $5,000 win over being able to practice for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Because we also have to remember that you have lawyers who say, oh, well, I'm going to retire, but very few attorneys actually retire. This is a lifestyle. Thinking as a lawyer that's our life. So we don't even really retire. We just sort of slow down taking cases, and maybe every once in a while take 1 or 2 cases. Respect
to lawyers. I hate the profession, but I respect the job.
Thank you.
Why do you think, you're welcome. Why do you think the Black community and the POC community have such an issue with lawyers?
Because lawyers are part of the system that goes with law enforcement and the judicial system. And typically that's not designed to be in our favor. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know how else to sugarcoat it. When you see generation after generation after generation of injustice being played out in the courtroom and through the legal process, then you become distrustful of all the actors, which is, I don't even want to say, oh, it's unfortunate, because I feel like that's downplaying it. But it is, because that means that as, you know, our children, as we grow up, we're not directed to have careers in law enforcement. We're not directed to have careers as lawyers. We're not directed to have careers as, you know, all these different things. We are directed, this is funny, we are directed to have careers working for the state, and if you can work in corrections, that's even better, you know. But we're not directed to be police officers. We're not directed to be lawyers. And to the point where we try not to participate in jury duty. And so all those things, that's where change occurs, you know.
Yeah.
Fairness is not don't get me wrong, I have so much respect for public defenders, right? Because they definitely have a thankless job, and pride as is kept. Public defenders are some of the best criminal defense attorneys out there. But people don't believe that, right?
Yeah.
But there's also a whole bunch of power on the other end as state prosecutors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when we have Black attorneys who are going to work for the system, we don't push them into state prosecutor, but that's where the power is. That's who gets to look and say, okay, this is how we're going to charge this person, or this is if we're going to charge this person.
Like the sister, man, I can't think of her name right now, but I want to give her much praise when she decided not to charge, was it Marquise Lloyd with the death penalty?
Ayala.
Yeah. Shout out to Ayala.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that we underestimate all the time. I don't, you know, everybody has a past, and so I can easily tell you all, you know, as a young person, I got in trouble, and it was a state prosecutor who saved my behind.
Yeah.
Because I had a public defender who was literally like, plead guilty to everything. I got other people. I got all these other inmates that's in here with you. I got to deal with them today. And I was like, oh my gosh. But the prosecutor was like, this is what we'll do. We'll put you on, you know, we'll do adjudication withheld and give you a chance at life. And then he talked to me and was like, hey, you know, you could lose everything behind this.
And them folks got mad, boy.
Yeah. But for him, I would not be here today talking to you about being a lawyer.
Them folks got mad at Ayala when she ain't want to seek the death penalty. They took off the case. So I want to give a shout out to her for standing on her principle and standing on what she believed in.
Yeah, there was a lot of pushback on that. And, you know, I'll tell you this, whether you agree with her stance or not, and I'm not going to share my opinion one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because my opinion doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, whether you agree with her or not, she stood and took the blows that a lot of other people wouldn't be willing to do.
Amen on that. Amen on that. In your professional opinion, why do you think 50% of marriages end in divorce?
Why do I think that 50% of the marriages end in divorce?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is, and I can't say for sure, and this is not from actually, I think a lot of it is people just chosen to no longer commit to it. They stopped doing the work.
That's a nice, sweet, wrapped up answer. I like that. They just, like, you know, it ain't a lot. Hey, stop trying to love each other.
That's what it boils down to, because when it's, you know, I found out that my spouse is having an affair. That's essentially, I'm done working on it.
Yeah.
I'm done trying. oh, we don't get along about money. I'm done working on it. Oh, this person has mental health. I get a lot of, oh, this person has mental health issues, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's this person has mental health issues and they won't seek help. And sometimes it's this person has mental health issues and they're seeking help, but they're not doing it the way I want it to be done. That's very rare. Mm-hmm. But in the same instance, and either way, it's just, it's not conducive. Now, there's sometimes where you have to walk away. Yeah. You just have to walk away. But not all of it, but a lot of it boils down to I'm not trying to do the work that I committed to doing.
That's what's up.
On both one end or both ends.
That's what's up. How can lawyers promote a better relationship between themselves and their public personas?
Can you repeat that question for me?
How can lawyers promote a better relationship or a better image of themselves to the public and their public personas?
I think it's a two-part. Okay. I think for lawyers tend to be some of the smartest people in the room, usually, right? Yeah. Very alpha, very type A is what they say, Mm-hmm. We like to take control of things and so forth. And so sometimes that comes across when we're handling our clients, our cases, the general public. I think if we as lawyers remember a couple of things. One, what can legally be done is not always what needs to be done. I have found that the majority of issues, the majority of legal cases that I come across, mm-hmm. it doesn't require legal interaction or legal interference to resolve. Sometimes there's general common sense answers to legal issues. And so that's the case. But also, I think that attorneys should use those common sense answers, instead of the legal processes. One. And two, I think attorneys should do more to meet people where they're at. And when I say that, meaning we have to stop showing off how smart we are. It's already a given that we're smart. We're the lawyers, right? Yeah. So that means that we don't have to necessarily speak Latin to everyone. We don't have to, re soliquitur everybody, right? Yeah. We can just say that the thing speaks for itself. Like, this is what it is. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I think that does so well. I think also explaining. We don't do a lot of explaining. It's sort of like that situation I told you about when I got in trouble. It was, hey, go ahead and plead guilty because I got all these other cases. I got all these other people who I also have to take care of. Make it easy on me. Plead guilty. Right? Mm-hmm. Instead of explaining, hey, Lisa, if you plead guilty, then this prosecutor, I've already talked to him, this is what he's going to do, right? Yeah. Compared to if you plead not guilty, we got to do a trial, and he doesn't have that option to do that then. Okay? On the other hand, I think the general public, be open to it. Like, if you see an attorney trying, be open to it. If there's one thing I can say, law is not what you're going to see on TV. It's just not. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not going to, let me be clear, you're not going to get the Matlock. You're not going to get the Matlock. You're not going to get the Keating. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you are, that means you're paying a pretty penny. Those two things don't coincide with budget. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so there's this give and take. So if you have an attorney who's, who's talking to you with comments or, trying to make it, as common language so you can understand it as possible, right? Mm-hmm. Who's giving you the information, it may not be what you want. Very few people come out of a court case of any kind, whether it's criminal, civil, family, whatever. Very few people come out getting everything that they want, right? Mm-hmm. But just know if they're trying, don't make it difficult and spreading you're an attorney, you must be rich, you don't care about the little people, you're liars, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, that was a very defensive question, but we're going to move on from that. I mean, the question, no, I know, I get it, but I mean, I was just trying to understand because I'm pretty sure, like, if anyone in the audience is like me, I'm asking basically, like, how can y'all make yourselves look more presentable to the average Joe? And I get what you're saying. You're like, hey, we got a hard job, but everybody has a hard job.
Absolutely. I guess maybe, and maybe I'm not expressing it correctly, but I'm saying it's on the ownership of the attorney. Yeah. You need to talk regular common English, right?
Yeah.
Stop showing out that you're so smart, because it's already a given that you're smart.